So, I did a lot of research before I put this together, and what was really interesting is there's so much information about what tarot cards are, what there aren't, and there was kind of limited information about timing. And so I dug a little deeper. And so here's our agenda. Here's what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about the tarot in time element and really how it plays into it when you're doing your reading for yourself or for others, how this suits define time. I actually ended up going down quite a rabbit hole, I'll tell you, which was very interesting. Cards that can actually forecast when things are going to happen. And of course, I always want to do the 3-card collective reading for you guys. And then I'll do the draw for a free reading. So, and actually I add in the wheel that I do, I just add everyone's name that had registered for that. I don't know about you guys, but one of the reasons I started doing tarot was because I wanted to somehow have control over what was going to happen in my future. I wanted to know if I was making right decisions, right? And although we'd all love to know what's happening in the future, the nature of the tarot cards and a tarot card reading is to read the energies that you are emitting right now. And it is to offer you guidance so that you can make the best choices. Now, having said that, some tarot readers will offer timing based on events, and there are a few cards, which we're going to review, that can dictate potentially when something will happen. I go to a psychic every 6 months, and I kind of change them up, and I always ask about timing of certain things, when will my kids get married, or, when will my son finally get a job, or like whatever. And every time I ask for specific timing, they are always off. Like, the one I always go to, she's off by a year. They come true, but she's off by a year. So it's not that she's not picking up the right energy. I want you to think of it this way. So when you're thinking about energies and you want to predict something, let's just say you want to predict when you're going to get this promotion because you've really been off this promotion, you're speaking up for yourself, you know where you want to go. But it's not just what you want. There's other energies, there's other collective energies that are involved in what you want to manifest. So if you think about collective energies, anything can happen. The boss that was going to give you the promotion, maybe he's going to end up moving somewhere, or the job is no longer needed because something else changed. Do you see where I'm going? So it's not just what you want to manifest, but there's a lot of other pieces, which is why we say, please help me understand what's for my highest good. I'm going to leave it up to you. Here's what I'd like. I'd love a promotion. I'm going to leave it up to the universe to decide how that's going to come about. Because the universe can put a whole bunch of different things together. You may get offered a role in a whole other company, but it's going to be a promotion, right? It's like when we say, oh, I want to win some money. I want to win a lottery. Well, don't put that in the universe's mind because that's one way to win money. You could just say, you know what? I want to attract more money and financial security. I don't care how you do it, but I would love some financial security. And meanwhile, 6 months later, you get a notice from a lawyer that a great aunt you didn't even know left you $50,000, right? That's what I want you to think about. So timing is great. And there are some things we'll walk through, but I want you to know that the purpose of the tarot reading is to understand where your energies are now, where they were in the past, and potentially where they could be going. Let me just see this. It sounds like somebody. Hang on one second. I'm not used to, people. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. Got it. Sorry. Okay. Let me just see if that works. Okay, perfect. So what I just want you to understand that timing is also based on certain aspects of potentiality. Let's just think about it as potential, but you have to be open to changes that the universe could just throw something else at you. Let's just put it that way. All right. So when we think of that, the first thing I want you to think about is there's a lot of different aspects of the tarot cards that influence the timing. Now, the first thing is it's all based on seasons. So as you see here, and by the way, I'm going to post this and everything, you guys can have this. Wands equal the spring, cups are the summer, swords are the fall, and pentacles are winter seasons. So when you think, it doesn't matter where you live, you can live in California, but you still have seasons. You may not get snow, but you know when it's winter in December. So it's understanding what those groups of months are based on the seasons. So if you get a reading and you're like, well, when's this going to happen? And you get the Ace of Pentacles, well, it's going to happen pretty quickly, which I'll talk about in a bit, but it potentially could happen in the winter. And if it's something you've been focusing on for a while and you've got a hint that something's coming and it's going to happen fairly soon, the Ace confirms it's going to happen soon. And if the winter's around the corner like it is now, wow, okay, it's probably going to be maybe in December or January. That's good because that's the winter month. So you kind of see we're going to read as much as we can within that card so that we understand when that's going to happen. Questions on that? That's pretty clear. It's pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so the next thing is, and I want to see if you guys can guess this. If you've done this before, you probably will guess this. Numerology plays a huge role in the tarot. From the numbers of the cards, from ace to 10, and the suits as well, they all play a role. So when we think about just the suits of the cards, the wands, the cups, the pentacles, and the swords, which one do you think equal days, weeks, months, and years? So let's start with days. Which suit do you think is for days? Which would equal days? It'll be a process of elimination here, right? But which one do you think? Wands, swords, cups, or pentacles? Throw it in the chat for me. What do you think? You guys know this. You're going to know a lot of this already. So Tammy's, yes, right, yes. Wands. So wands are days. Good job. What about weeks? Throw it in there. What's the weeks? No clue. It's okay. This is why we're here. We're learning, right? Dominique says cups. Any other thoughts? Cups. Okay. It's actually swords. Swords are weeks. I'll just show you the other two. So of course, pentacles are months. Oh, sorry. Cups are months. Pentacles are years. So if you look at the cards we have here right now, if you've got the Eight of Wands, it would be, and the Eight of Wands is actually a timing card, which I'm going to walk through in a bit. But Eight of Wands is saying it's going to go pretty swift. It's probably going to be within 8 days. And the Eight of Wands is also a travel card, which means when you see that card, you're either traveling overseas, you're going to go on a trip, something like that, and it probably is going to be within that 8-day period, or it's going to be when? In the spring. Right? So you want to have all these aspects and let your intuition guide you as to when it feels like that timing is going to come true. So in the weeks, so right now you've got that Six of Swords, it would be within 6 weeks. You got the 10 of Cups, it would be within 10 months. And of course, the Five of Pentacles would be within 5 years. Now, but again, keeping in the seasons as well, right? So if it's Pentacles, it's probably within 5 years, and it may be within the winter time. So something to consider there. All right, so the next thing we want to consider, so we've considered the seasons, we've considered the days, weeks, months, like the actual timing of stuff. Now I want to talk about timing as well. So the major arcana, which is here's our 12 cards, right? So they actually pertain, every one of these cards pertains to an astrological sign. So the Emperor is Aries, the Hierophant is Taurus, the Lovers is Gemini, you get the idea. Chariot is Cancer. So if you're reading for someone and they're a Taurus and the Hierophant comes up, you'd say, oh, well, this is actually your card, which is a pretty strong card for that sign. If that person is in their astrological sign, it's a pretty strong message that they should pay attention to, because it means it's your message, it's your card. So that's kind of interesting to kind of consider when you're thinking about it, because, and then again, you know, astrology plays into months. So if it's a Taurus, you know what? It's probably going to be, you know, April and May. Between April 20th and May 20th, it could happen within that time frame. If you're asking, you're shuffling the cards and you're saying, you know, just give me a sign, give me something of when I can expect this to happen, and out pops the Hierophant, well, it's a Taurus card. Chances are it's going to be between April and May. And if you're right now, like we are in November, you say, oh, okay, it's going to potentially happen in next April and May. So you could use these cards as using them for the months of the year, which can be quite helpful actually. It actually, if you, I don't know about you, okay. So if I'm not sure of the answer that I'm getting, I'll say, can you clarify? I clarify all the time because I always doubt what I deal. Can you clarify that card? If I say clarify that Hierophant card, and let's just say the Eight of Wands pops up again, well, it's a springtime card, right? So it could be within 8 weeks, but it may really confirm that, yeah, it's going to be in the spring. So is the spring April, May? Yeah, kind of. So then it would confirm what I pulled. If it's something totally different, well, then I'm going to have to consider, what does that mean? What's my intuition? Which card do I actually want to, which card feels right? Because remember last time we talked about, it's how you actually feel when you shuffle and you look at the cards and you take your time and actually feel what that card is trying to tell you is really important. So that's another way that you can look at it. So then, of course, there's the major arcana, but the suits also play a role with astrology. So when we're looking at these different suits, so fire signs. So when we've got the wands, not only are they in the spring, but they also, wands represent fire signs, which are Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. So if you pull an Ace of Wands, right, it could happen pretty quick, but it also could happen in April, August, December, because Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius are in different months. So that's why you can't really look at it and say, oh, it's all, it's going to be so specific and one card is going to say what it is. It could, but as you can see here, there's a lot of different potentials. So you're going to want to use a lot of cards to really kind of narrow down. Well, you can use a lot of cards to narrow down what you're thinking or what that answer potentially could be, or you're going to just trust your gut and say, it feels like it's actually spring. This card indicates spring, and everything we've seen indicates that this would probably happen or in a spring. Now, remember I said, like, tarot card readers aren't always bang on because of all the different energies. Maybe it's not next spring, maybe it's 2 years from now. You always want to give that caveat. Like if you start reading for other people, you're going to want to always have that caveat that says, I can tell you what I'm feeling right now, but you have free will and you can change your mind and things around you can happen that are outside your control. So this timing is really just a guess. So I don't want you to look at it as, a done deal. Like, don't quote me, which is why we always say, I want you to know that this is for entertainment only, because you have free will, and this is just kind of a fun thing to do, right? And it's about you learning to trust your intuition, you and for other people when you're doing those readings. So the swords are air signs: Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Cups are water signs: Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And the Pentacles, the winter card, is earth signs: Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So those are things, the high level, you should learn that. You should just know, like when you're looking at cups, they're water signs. Emotions, right? When you're looking at pentacles, it's all around earth and stability and wealth and all the resources that you have for yourself. When you're looking at swords, these are our thoughts. These are the things we're thinking. These are all of the stuff that helps us make decisions on things, right? Or stresses us out. It's all the thoughts that are in our head. And the wands are all the dynamic ideas we have, the inspiration, the ambition, the drive to do new things. So each suit has different, and here's what's interesting. Each suit has different attributes, shall we call them, which really align with the astrological signs. Like if you were really going to dive deep into this, I would suggest that you go to an astrological site, which there's 50 million of them, and just give me the highlights of what a Leo personality is like, an Aries is like. So I've spent a lot of time on astrological signs because I'm fascinated by it. So when I do readings for folks, I'll do a birth chart for them if they're willing to give me their date and time of birth and location. And I'll do a full birth chart. So for instance, although I'm a Cancer sign, great, I'm empathetic, I can communicate well, but I'm I'm an Aries. So I have Aries in my chart and I have Leo in my chart, which offsets my introvertedness that I actually have, right? Because I'm wondering, how can I do the role that I do when I'm really kind of shy? And it's because I was fascinated. It's because I have Aries in my rising and I have Leo in my moon. So I can tap into those energies. So when you meet someone, they say, oh, I'm a Taurus. Don't peg them as a true Taurus until you understand what their other signs are, because that's what makes us all unique. We're not all the same people. So that's why I love this. Like, if you can just tap into the high level of what these different astrological signs are and how they correlate to the tarot cards, it'll be a huge help for you. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's very interesting. They're tied together so much, the tarot and the astrology, that it's crazy. Yeah, it's so fascinating. The whole thing is just so fascinating. It really is cool. Okay, so that's kind of we've got seasons, we've got days, months, weeks, years, right? We've got numerology, and we've got astrology. All those things play a role. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take you through a couple of key cards that I want you to consider when it comes to actual timing of events. So the first one I want to show you is the Ace of Wands. Now, aces overall, they pretty much suggest that things are happening pretty quick. Aces represent seeds, like new things, new beginnings, new ideas, right? New thoughts, new opportunities, if it's an Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Wands, though, it's absolutely a yes answer. All aces are yes answers. It's immediate or very soon. And I looked up a couple of different things, and a couple of places said 1 to 11 days or during the waxing phase of the moon. So I don't do a lot of the moon type stuff, but I thought I'd throw it in there if you guys are into that kind of stuff. But typically it's 1 to 11 days, because if you'll see, it's 111. That's why they put it that way. I would just say it's immediate. Now, if I'm looking at the Ace of Wands and it's springtime, right? It's a springtime thing. But listen, remember? So it's springtime, but right now we're like in November. It's not spring, and it's going to happen fast. But it's also, right? It's also a fire sign, which means it's a Sagittarius, which could be in December, right? Because I remember I said, so wands are fire signs. It's Leo, it's Aries, and it's Sagittarius. Well, those are the months that it potentially could happen in. So if you wanted it to be fairly quick, it may mean that it's going to be in December, and that would make sense if it's 1 to 11 type days. So something for you to consider. Usually it just means it's going to happen pretty quick. But you're going to want to look at all the other cards around just to confirm. The next one I want to share with you is the Eight of Wands. Again, yes answer, quickly or very soon, swiftly. Like when you see those rods coming flying, it's very swift. It usually means travel will be involved as well. Because wands are days, it would mean 8 days. It could also mean the spring. Could also mean Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. So you see where I'm going? Like every little aspect of this. Let's just say you do a reading of 6 cards and all these wands come up, right? And it's like, oh my goodness. And you're looking at them and actually it all seems to be pointing to, it's going to happen in April, which is Aries. So it's like, oh, okay, is that when it's going to happen? And let's just say it all kind of is trending that way. Then it's going to make more sense to you. Plans taking shape, smooth communication, passion, love at first sight, quick progression. So and the Eight of Wands is where you have actual control. It's like you're in the groove. Remember Ace of Wands is inspiration, ambition. Like you're moving forward. Like it's like, let's go. Like I'm on the right track. Stay the course. Keep going. Now, let me just pause it because some of you have done this for a little bit. Is there anything else with the Eight of Wands that you've seen as far as timing? Like, am I missing something? Is there something else that we should be adding to this as far as the timing? Like, I want you guys to jump in. If you've got, oh, I heard that it could be this, throw it in the chat. Let me know, because I'm only researching a little bit of things. I'm sure there's like a lot of other aspects that may resonate with you more. Because remember we said, as you go through the cards, you want to look at them and think, what does this mean to me? When I think of this, so for instance, let's look at this. So we're looking at the Eight of Wands. We're thinking timing. When you're looking at it, what's resonating with you right now? Is it the 8 days? Is it the springtime that's resonating? Are you seeing a whole bunch of, leaves sprouting? Like if there's something that's going to resonate with you, go with that. because that's what's true for you. Oh, there you go. Chantel is typing. Okay. Swiftly. Yes, swiftly. Like these guys are flying. I like that. So if you're like, it's going to happen really fast. And you could add that if you're talking to someone you're doing a reading for, you could say it's going to happen really fast. You know what? It could be within 8 days. It's going to be within the next week. You're going to hear something. That's what the energies are showing right now. Oh, like 8 hours. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You're going to hear it by tomorrow. Sure. You know what? If you're like, wow, this is going to happen right away. Perfect. And if you get that feeling, you want to ask people to let you know if that's actually what happens, because then that confirms and gives you that sense of credibility and confidence that, okay, I got to stick with that because that came true. And the more you do that, where people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that because this actually happened. Ask them about timing, ask them to give you feedback. Did these happen? Every time I do a reading, I'll say, please let me know if any of this stuff comes true, because I try not to do a lot of predictive reading. It's more like, this is the energy, this is how you're feeling, this is where you're going. But if sometimes I'll get messages that say, oh, you're going to lose your keys, or you're going to find them again. It's going to happen within the next month. I'll say, let me know if that actually happened, because I'm curious, right? So you want to ask people if that's the case. What's the next ones here? Okay. So now we've got the Nine of Pentacles. Love this card. It's like one of my favorite cards. This is especially for women, I love this card because it's an independence card. It's saying, I've made it. I'm good. I can really revel in the fruits of my labor. I'm being recognized finally. I've made it. I'm on top of the world. It's an absolute yes question. If you're asking a question, it's an absolute yes. And you have all the time in the world because you've made it. There's no rush anymore, so it can happen. It's a minimum of 6 months. So it's not a delay card. I'm going to talk about delays in a minute. It's just, I've got all this time. I'm patient, right? It's an earth energy because it's pentacles, remember? Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Here's the other aspect, which I haven't shared with you yet. It can be, because it's the Nine of Pentacles, it could be the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month. And you can do this with any cards, by the way. So you can now take the days, if you really want to be specific, if you're really hoping for something to happen, if they say, well, can you be more specific? Like, what time of the month is this going to happen? Well, it's an 8. So maybe it could be, a 17, potentially. It could be a 26. It could be the 26th of the month. Like, just add up 8. Whatever numbers will add up to 8, or whatever card you have, that's potentially what when it would happen. So something to consider. If you're trying to be really specific, there's no right or wrong here. We just got to try it and see what comes up. Let me just see what else. Oh yeah. So let's keep going here. I'm going to pause. Am I going too fast for you guys? Is this okay? Pace okay? We're good? Okay. Thank you. Good. You always tell me to slow down. Okay, so the next one is the Knight of Swords. Now, when you look at this card, like, just look how fast this guy's going. Like, he is flying. He is not letting anything stop him. He's not even really thinking anymore. He's just doing. He's going full speed. It's a definite yes answer. Swords are air signs, as we talked about, which is Mercury or Gemini. Actually, Mercury is the planets in Gemini, so it's potentially May 20th to June 20th, right? And now swords, when you're looking at your swords, it could be 1 to 2 weeks. It's also the 12th card, because you got the 10, you got the Page of Swords, then you got the Knight of Swords. So it's the 12th card. So it could be 1 to 2 weeks, or it could be the 12th, because it's the 12th card. Right? But it's very swift. The Knight of Swords, the only challenge with the Knight of Swords, it's a cautionary card for me. I'll say to people, it could happen very quickly because you're full steam. Like, you're so focused on where you want to go. I want you to pay attention to where you're going. This is kind of the card that says, careful if you're flying upstairs, you could trip. Be careful how fast you're moving. You may miss a step. You may miss a detail that you should be paying attention to. So this Knight is not even thinking, and there's no emotion with this Knight. So when I think that the swords are about how we think, I'm sure everyone has had this, where sometimes we speak before we think. So I also remind people, depending on the surrounding cards, you might want to think before you speak, because you're so focused on moving forward really fast that you may say something that may not be received as well as your intention. So when you're thinking about swords, they're thinking cards. These are, I am so ambitious. I got to just keep moving forward. I'm doing all the things I need to do. I'm dotting my I's, crossing my T's, but I'm just going full steam. Yeah, you might be moving too quickly. So it's still a fast card, but you're going to want to watch how fast you're going and watch your step along the way, because that could be a big thing. Okay. So the last set of cards I want to share with you are our patience and delay cards. Now, and when you look at the cards, you can see why they are what they are. The Knight of Pentacles, as you can see, is going nowhere. He is standing still. He's holding his pentacle, and he's quite content to take his time. Look around. What do I need to do now? What other resources potentially do I need? Am I satisfied with where I am? It's a much slower pace. And the pentacles are earth signs, and earth signs are Taurus and Capricorn for the first two. And I can tell you, I know these people, they're very methodical. They think before they do things. They like to be patient. They don't want to be rushed. So it's a slower pace than average. And that whenever you're looking at your cards, and if you see it, the horse like stopped, it's like, oh, okay, we got to think about this before we're going to move forward. So there needs to be some patience. The Hermit, as you can see here, is kind of like the father of time. And actually, when you look at him with his little lantern there, he's like Father Time. And he suggests that we need to have some patience. There may be some internal thinking process we have to go through first. We may have to meditate on things. Nothing's going to happen quickly, and nor should it. So that when you see the Hermit come through, it's a reminder that all good things come to those who wait. So there may be more information you need before you go, before you move forward. Yes, thank you, Tammy. You're absolutely right. He's looking down. He's checking everything out first. He's not in a rush to move forward yet. It's a patient card. Sometimes we need to check in with our intuition, right? We may need to learn something. It's not the Hierophant card to learn, but the Hermit is about higher education. So you want to think about things before you move forward. And I love, thank you, Tammy, for that. You caught, I mean, he's looking down. And that's another key to these things, right? Looking at these pictures and how are these people positioned, right? Now, if you looked at this Knight of Pentacles, if this was an actual reading, and you look at the Knight of Pentacles, he's looking towards the Hermit, which means he wants to move forward, but he may have to do some thinking first. He's going to have to think before he actually moves forward, right? And they're kind of looking at each other there. So it's going to be kind of okay, I got to think before I move forward. I don't want to just jump. I'm going to have some patience, right? And make sure all my ducks are in a row before I move forward. And then when you look at Temperance, Temperance is actually considered the card of time itself. Temperance suggests patience, and it reminds us that everything has a balance and that everything will happen in divine timing. And so I love this card when I do readings for people that are a little bit controlling, that want everything just so, that they want to be in control of their destiny. It's a reminder that, we are not in control of everything. We have free will, but we are not playing all the other pieces. So it's about happening and trusting that everything's going to happen for your highest good, and that you have to just have some patience. And in the water. Yes. Very true. Yeah, I like that. Food on the rock and in the water. Yeah, and his foot's in the water. Yeah. So the foot is he's testing the temperature. Like I always look at it, he's testing the temperature of the water, and he's trying to make water into wine while he's doing that. It's an interesting photo actually when you look at it. But I always think of it as a positive card because the sun is coming up in the back. It's almost like the it's a positive card. It's all going to be okay, but we got to wait till the sun comes up, right? We got to wait. We got to have some patience. Got to balance a couple of things out. Oh yeah, the flowers. Yeah, the flowers are really nice too. And flowers are, you know, a regeneration thought that things are going to spring up again, and they're already sprung. So that's another positive sign of not abundance, but wait, and the flower will bloom, right? And we're not in control of flowers, as you know. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So there's other cards that have this that are delay cards, but these are the main ones that when you get them in a non-traditional deck. So okay, good point. If when you're talking about non-traditional decks, are we still talking about like the Hermit, Temperance, like the actual cards? Yes. Different pictures. Yes, cats. Perfect. Okay. So what you want to do, Alexa, is you still want to look at the pictures because the pictures will still give the message. Like I'm giving you the general message of what the actual cards of the tarot mean, right? And because these are the pictures we're looking at, if you're using a Rider-Waite deck, then these are the pictures you'd look at. Like I have the vice versa deck now too, which is the same cards, but they have different pictures. And so now when I look at those pictures, I'm getting the same because I know the messaging of what I want to say, but now I'm adding to the message. So that's what you need to do. You need to look at your cards. So you look at your Temperance card, whatever the picture of the cat or whatever's on it, and ask yourself, okay, I know this is a patient card. Is there something in this picture that depicts that? Is there something in the picture that's showing me that this cat needs to be patient or that there's a balance or something has to happen, right? You want to pick out in the picture of your cards. You can use all kinds of non-traditional cards. Sure. But you just have to look at the pictures again. You have to ask yourself, how do I feel when I look at that card? Right? That's kind of what you want to do. I love the long time mountain on the Temperance card. Patience. Yes. Yes. I love that too. Yeah, that's a good one. Very, very good at. I bought a few different decks because I could not decide. Okay, so that's, you know what, that's a really good way to do it, Alexa, because what you're going to do is you're going to go through every deck, because I've got like 6 decks, and there's like 2 that I go to. They're my go-tos all the time because I'm comfortable and I can read them really easily. So you want to look at a couple and ask yourself, like do a 3-card spread for yourself on every deck and ask the same question, right? You know, what is it? Thank you for showing me what I need to know. 3 cards. Thank you for showing me what I need to know. And you're going to do that, and you're going to look at the reading from each one, and you're going to ask yourself, where do I feel comfortable? Where do I feel like my intuition is on point? Because your intuition knows what deck it wants to use to give you your messages. Now, I don't know if you guys use pendulums at all, if you're familiar with pendulums. So I use a pendulum when I am, do I have it? Here I have it there, I can show you. So I have an amethyst pendulum that if I am not sure, and this is actually, Alexa, you could hold on, let me grab it, guys. I want to grab it. Hang on. Let me show you this. So I have this amethyst pendulum, okay? It's about 1.5 inches, and it hangs from a string, and it's got amethyst on the other end here. Oops, there, okay? So thank you. I love it. So what I do is the first thing you do if you get, and it was cheap, guys, Amazon, like it's so cheap. But here's what I do. For anyone that is of my generation, we used to do this with necklaces. When I was a teenager, we would take a cross, or we would take our necklaces, and we would ask it questions, and we'd say, okay, tell me what yes is, tell me what no is. Well, maybe I was just strange even then. But we would ask questions. So now with the pendulum, I'll say, okay, for instance, you know, should I continue to do this? Yes or no? Oh, so what you mean is I should continue? Yes. So I'll ask the pendulum. So for you, Alexa, here's what I'm going to suggest. If you get yourself a pendulum like this, you just say, what you're going to do is you're going to say, tell me what yes is. Now, my yes is a circle. You're just going to hold it. You're going to hold it like this, and you're going to wait, and it will start to circle. Tell me what a yes is, and you'll say, is my name Alexa? Hold it. Make sure it goes in a circle. That's a yes, right? And then you'll say, okay, show me what a no is. Now my no goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then ask it a question that you know the answer is no. Am I a millionaire? Oh, no, I'm not. So you want to ask it questions to test out how it wants to give you information. So what I would do if I'm you, I've got my decks of cards, and I would say, okay, is this the deck that I should be using for my tarot readings? Yes or no? And ask it. It may say yes for all of them. It may want you to actually tap into your intuition first, but it may not. It may say yes to the cat deck. It may say no to your other one. It may say yes to, like, you see where I'm going? So you're tapping into your intuition in a different way to confirm. This pendulum is a godsend. Like, if you need a fast yes or no, this is a god. It's not a Ouija board. It's nothing like that. It just taps into your energy. For my highest good, is this a yes or no? And I tell you, I listen to this. When I need to make an important decision, I listen to this. Not everyone agrees with me, but that's okay too. It's all good. It's all good. It takes all kinds to make the world go round, folks. It's all good. Everyone's different. I hope that helped, Alexa. Okay, good. I'm so glad. Okay, hang on. Chantel's typing. We got here. The Jeopardy song, yeah. Yeah, so true. So true. Okay, so there's lots of different things that we can do with the timing now. And I think I showed you this spread last time, but I want to share the how and the when. So when we're looking at, can I do a laser pointer? Give me this. Ooh, I can. Lovely. So number one is, what's the general energy of the actual situation? Number two is the general timing. Over to three, this is actually called a pentagram spread, by the way, where we've got the triangle and then the upside down triangle. So we go from 1 to 2 over to 3. So what's the general energy? What's the general timing, which is where you would actually look at the timing of that card based on all the stuff I shared with you. Number 3 is, what can I do? Number 4, what is out of my control? Remember I said timing isn't everything. There's going to be things that you can't control. Number 5, what needs to happen for this to arrive? Maybe a court card's going to come up. Maybe another person has to have some influence in this situation, right? Number 6, what action should I take? So I really like this for timing, because if someone says, oh, when's my boyfriend going to propose to me? Okay, that's your question. So let's get a general energy. So maybe the Lover's card comes up. Okay, it is about love. You're going to have to make a decision, or he's going to have to make a decision. What's the general timing, right? Maybe it's an Ace of Cups. Maybe it's going to be right away. Who knows, right? All kinds of things could happen. What can I do about it? Do you see where I'm going? So there's all these questions that you can actually, deal the cards out, but also it can be something as simple as deal one card. Here's what the timing is going to be. And then you read it from there. Doesn't have to be as complicated as this spread. You could easily just deal a couple of cards. And again, this is where, actually, let me go to the next slide, because I want to share this with you here. Hang on one second. So this is the reading I did for you guys, but I want to share this with you based on what we were just talking about. You can also do past, present, future is a timing thing. If there's someone says to you, well, when's my boyfriend going to propose to me? And you go, well, in the past, this is what's happened. So it's a great relationship. Here's the present. It seems like there's a little bit of rockiness. Is something happening? What's going on there? And then, and here's the future. It's the Lover's card again, or it's the Sun card, or it's whatever it is. Maybe it's a Tower card. Well, something's going to happen. You guys are going to be tested. Who knows? Maybe there's a transformation coming. You see where I'm going? So you can do past, present, future. You can do you, them, energy. Yeah, this is a good one. So some of the tarot readings I watch on YouTube, they'll do, here's you, here's them, and here's the energy that combines you together, or here's the energy of with both of you together. So if they say, well, tell me about me and my boyfriend or my husband or my partner, you can say, well, here's your energy, here's their energy, and here's your energy together. I love this one. I really like that one because I think it's pretty cool. So what I thought I would do, I'll start with the one that's highlighted yellow, because that's what I pulled. That's what I want you guys to know. So when we think about the Chariot is a situation. So when we're thinking about Chariot, first of all, it's a Cancer card, right? So that would be a summer time. June, July, if that was gonna, you were looking about timing. So that's the timing of it. But the situation says you've got a white horse and a black horse. Chariot is full steam ahead as well, going very quickly, but the horses have to go together in the same direction to go fast, which means you have to have, again, all your ducks in a row in order for you to move forward. So the situation could be something that says, you know, do you feel like you're going to have to make a decision soon on something? Or, you know, so someone on this call may feel they have to make a decision and they're trying to stay in the lane, like they're trying to stay focused on where they want to go. But there's going to come a time where either the white horse or the black horse is going to pull them in the one direction. So you're going to have to be clear on where you want to go, which direction you want to go in this situation, whatever that means for you. Okay. The challenge you have is the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant says education, rules, organization, management, authority. You're going to have to learn something. The challenge says there's politically something, and this is what I'm feeling, is there's something political going on that you're going to have to navigate. I'm not sure what that is. It's to do with people. It's feeling like it's a work thing, but it could be something personal for you as well. But you got to navigate something. And there's some I'm hearing that there's information someone doesn't know yet. There's information being kept from you. Like the Hierophant I always think of as the keeper of all knowledge, right? So we may have to learn something. We may have to get information from somebody. Maybe we're not asking the right questions, right? So there's information that has to come from for some of you. That's your challenge, though, is to find out what you need to know before you can move into this lovely Empress. The advice is appreciate everything you have, count your blessings, and something is coming to mind that says just because you can doesn't mean you should. I say that again. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it, right? So if you're offered a role or someone's encouraging you to do something and your gut is saying, boy, I should be really excited about this, but I'm not excited about this, that means it's not right for you. Or they may be asking you something that normally you wouldn't do, but now you're feeling so excited about it. Do it, take that chance, go camping in the forest somewhere or something. Just get a lot of information before you do it. So then you can make the decision and go with that, right? Now, when we're looking at this, if thank you, Dominique. But you can see how you can read these cards. Like you can use any of these 5 situations and you can read these cards. You can just read them, right? Let's do titles. Thank you, Tammy. You just made my day. That's so cute. That's very true. Let's look at number 5 here, where it says your fear, your strength, and your opportunity. So your fear of the Chariot says, I'm not sure. I'm afraid to make the decision. I'm trying to hold my horses back because I'm afraid we could fall off a cliff. So I'm like, my fear is of the unknown, because these horses are going forward whether you want to or not, and I'm on them, but I'm nervous that we're going to fall off a cliff. So the fear is I'm afraid of that unknown of what's going to happen, and I'm afraid of having to make that decision. So that's the fear. The strength says, I'm confident. I have the knowledge. I should not be afraid because I've done everything I need to do. I've learned everything I need to do in this situation. I've dotted my I's, crossed my, I'm good, right? My strength is I am the Hierophant. I got education. I'm smart. I can do this. So it's believing in yourself that you have that confidence to be able to do that, because the opportunity is you can have abundance if you want it. If you're willing to stay on the horse, make the choice, and have the confidence in yourself, you're going to see this abundance card. It's going to come true, and you're going to have everything that you want. So it doesn't matter which of these you're looking at. You can read them however you want to. Depends on what you're looking for, or what the person is asking, or what you're asking. Sometimes we just need to keep it simple. One of the 3 interpretations. So if you're gonna decide ahead of time, Dominique, what spread you want to do. You're going to, like, I'm doing a reading for you. I'm going to choose what I want to do. I usually do the 5-card spread, but if they had another question after that and they said, well, can you just tell me a little bit about this? Then maybe I'll do a quick 3-card And it would be situation challenge. It depends on what their question is. Don't let people, like if you're going to start doing readings for people, I'll try to make them feel really comfortable because I want to get to know who they are. Because as they tell me who they are in the situation, I'll always say, is there a situation or an area of your life that you would like to know about? And I'll say, family, health, love, relationship, work, career, money. Like, is there something that's top of mind that you really want us to dive into? When people trust you and they share, you're going to pick up their energies and you'll know how to read the cards. You're going to say, you know what, it sounds like we should do something in a 3-card spread to talk about your work. You know, there's a bit of a challenge there. Let's do the situation challenge and let's get some advice for you. So when you understand what they're trying to find out, then you can pick one of these 3 cards. But yeah, there's no reason you couldn't say, hey, I can do a 3-card spread in any one of these situations. Pick one. Let them pick. If it's a love relationship, I always do you, them, and the energy. And then I'll do clarifying cards so that they can understand a little more about what's happening in their relationship, which they already know, by the way. We're just clarifying it, but they typically know what's going on. Right? Okay. Helpful? Any other questions that I can answer? There's no silly questions. Happy to answer anything that you want to know about. Good? Okay. Okay, so we still have 10 minutes left. You know what? Let's look at let me go back for a second. I want to go back. Let me just go back to these cards here. Hang on. I want to go back to this. Yeah, hang on, back up. I want to go to this for a second. I want to go to the major arcana cards. I want you to look at these. So now when we look at these cards, so when we look at the Emperor, for instance, this is a man. The major arcana cards, and I don't have all the court cards here. The major arcana cards are cards that influence destiny, shall we say. They're very important cards because when you look at when we look at our journey in life from the Fool to the World, we repeat that journey a couple of times, 3, 4, 5 times, whatever we need to do for our own soul development and our personal growth. When you look at the major arcana cards and they come up, they're great reminders and they're kind of important messages. So I want to just let me walk you through these a little bit. So when we think about the Emperor represents a man who's in charge. This is usually a boss, a leader, someone of great influence that would be influencing the situation that you're looking at. You can say to the person, it could be an Aries because that's the sign of the Emperor. Doesn't have to be. It could also be someone whose energy is showing up as Aries. Okay. Other thing you need to know, the Emperor doesn't necessarily need to be male. It can be gender exclusive. It could be a female leader, female boss. It's the energy of the Emperor. Remember, all the cards we're talking about are energy. If they're saying, well, who's influencing this? And you shuffle the cards and you get the Emperor, you're going to say, well, it's a boss. It's someone, it's a leader. It could be someone who's an Aries, someone that's born in April or May. Like, you know, does that ring a bell? Maybe it will, right? So it's understanding the energy of the card. If you get the Hierophant, we talked about that already. It's Taurus energy. You know, it's the education person. Could be a teacher. Could be a priest. Could be someone of education, a professor. So anyone that's a person, it can be that. It could be an actual person, gender exclusive. So you can tap into that a little bit, right? When you look at the Lovers cards, which is interesting that they're Gemini because Gemini is called the twin. And I always think that I just find it interesting that the Lovers actually fell on that, the May kind of time frame, in that it's the twin astrological sign. Because when you think of Lovers cards, originally it was about making, you know, it was literally about lovers. It was about love. It was about finding love. It was about being in love. And now it's transitioned more to decisions, making decisions in love, making decisions that are really important to you because the situation gives you, it's something you really care about. You have passion for it because when you think about love, it's an emotion, right? So when you think about the Lovers card coming up, it's a decision people have to make. You're going to have to make a decision and choose. It's not that you're in an affair and you got to choose between, you know, your husband or a lover. It's nothing. It can be that. It can be. I've seen it. But typically is that you're going to have to make a decision of some kind. Okay. We are talking about Cancer in the Chariot, making a decision. Strength card is Leo, outgoing, not afraid to put the hand in the lion's mouth, right? It's having that strength to do what's right. That's the card. That's the strength card. And when from a major or kind of reading, when you've got the strength card come up, it is letting people know they'll have the confidence, they'll get the strength that they need, and to tap into the strength they need to make the decision. Because it's a really important, the strength is a really important card when it comes to situations people are going through. The Hermit is my spiritual card. It's saying tap into your intuition, listen to your higher self, meditate, go walk in the woods, think before you jump, right? Look down, make sure you got all your ducks in a row before you do something. Justice, you will reap what you sow. Justice is always fair. Justice is always he's holding the balance, right? Did you do everything you were supposed to do? Death card does not mean what it can, but it rarely means. I've never in all the time I've been doing readings, never have I gotten a death card and it actually meant death. Because death means transformation. It means you're going to go through a huge change that you need to do for your soul growth. And it potentially could be because someone has passed, but it's rarely, I've never seen it. I've never done a prediction where I've said, you know, someone's going to pass away. I've said someone may be sick. This is showing me that someone's not well, but the death card is typically a transformation, an ending that you need to go through. So think of it as a blessing. And as you see the death card, it's kind of small here, the sun is coming up behind him. He has to go through this for the sun to come up. And I'm sure we all have times in our life where we're like, yeah, that was a death situation. Done, gone, right? And it's a Scorpio card full of passion, right? It's typically an ending that you're gonna kind of be stubborn about. You don't want to have to go through it. But that's how we grow. That's how we grow. We talk about temperance, the balance, having patience again. The Devil card, addictions. You know, addictions, there's all kinds of addictions, as you know. The Devil card is also something that's kind of holding you captive. It's something that I had a situation where the Devil card kept coming up, and it was because the person kept letting people take advantage of them. And they were like trapped. Like this card has chains around people's necks, but the chains are loose. They could pick them up and take them off. And this person was being very much manipulated by her partner, and she just felt like she couldn't move forward. And the Devil card just kept coming up and coming up. It's like, girl, you gotta take that chain off. Like you're trapped by this situation that you could get out of if you take that chain off. So you get the idea. The Star. Life is wonderful. Your wish come true. The Star is a great card to have. I love it. It's an air sign. It's an Aquarius. I say water because there's water in the card. But because they consider Aquarius the water bearer. And so I always think there's emotion to the Star card. There's emotion because it's something you really wanted. It's that wish fulfillment. I really love the Star card. And then finally the Moon. It's Pisces. You know, it's again very much a water sign, emotional sign. Confusion. The Moon is about confusion, secrets, things that need to be uncovered, things we don't know yet. So the Moon card can play a pretty big role in that too. Okay, hope that was helpful.